Welcome to Miss Rowe Classroom. Today we'll discuss the chapter Madam Rides the Bus by Valli Kannan. Please like, subscribe and share the video. Madam Rides the Bus, a poignant narrative penned by Valli Kannan, unfolds in a quaint South Indian village offering a unique cultural backdrop. It tells the story of Valli, an 8-year-old girl who is curious and whose greatest desire is to ride the bus that passes by her home every day. Through careful planning, she saves 30 paise and takes her first bus ride to town. Valli enjoys the journey with childlike excitement, feeling proud and independent. However, when she sees a dead cow on her way back, she realizes the harsh truth of life and death. The story beautifully depicts innocence and self-discovery. Valli, an 8-year-old girl, loves standing by the roadside and watching the bus that travels between her village and the nearest town. It was her favorite pastime and a way for her to connect with the world outside her small village. She loved observing new passengers getting on and off, imagining where they came from and where they were going. The bus became her window into adventure and discovery. The sight of the bus gave her unending joy. Her deepest desire was to take a ride on it herself, just once, and experience the thrill of traveling to the town. The story describes this wish as her strongest desire was to ride on the bus. Valli's dream wasn't an impulsive one. She watched the bus and the passengers for months, noting every detail about the trip. She learned by listening to conversations of regular travelers and asking clever questions. She found that the town was 6 miles away. The one-way fare was 30 paise. The trip took about 45 minutes each way. Valli was very disciplined and determined. She saved every coin by refusing to buy peppermints, balloons, or ride the merry-go-round at the fair. She secretly collected just enough for the fare of both journeys, showing her patience, intelligence, and self-control. She had an inquiring mind and wanted to understand how things worked. Her ability to gather information and plan showed strong reasoning skills. She behaved in a mature and dignified way. When she boarded the bus, she confidently bought her ticket and refused to accept help from anyone. The conductor jokingly called her Madam because she acted like an adult. When an elderly man called her a child, she firmly replied that she had paid her fare and deserved to be treated with respect. These reactions show her sense of self-worth and independence. As soon as the bus started, Valli felt a surge of excitement and happiness. She sat up straight, alert, and thrilled at every new sight that appeared. She stood up in her seat to get a better view outside. She enjoyed watching green fields, distant hills, grazing buffaloes, and village children waving at the bus. The line, "Oh, it was all so wonderful," expresses her joy and amazement. While the conductor and passengers found her amusing, Valli took her adventure seriously. To her, this wasn't a game. It was an honest exploration of the world. On the return trip, her joy faded when she saw a young cow lying dead on the road. The same cow she had earlier seen running happily in front of the bus. The incident shocked her deeply and made her realize that life also has its share of sadness and loss. Disturbed by the sight, she refused to look out of the window again. This moment marked a turning point in her understanding. She was no longer just an excited child, but someone who had seen the harsh side of reality. When Vali reached home, she quietly returned as if nothing had happened, proud of having completed her first independent adventure. Her mother, in conversation with her aunt, casually said, "So many things happen in the world without our knowledge." Vali smiled and replied, "I was just agreeing with what you said about things happening without our knowledge." Her words carry a deeper meaning. She now truly understands that the world is full of things, both joyful and sorrowful, that we cannot always control or foresee. The bus ride symbolizes Vali's journey from innocence to awareness. Through this short trip, she experiences excitement, independence, and the first taste of life's realities. Let's move to the theme of the story, from childhood innocence to emotional maturity. The story is a gentle, coming-of-age narrative that traces little Vali's movement from childish curiosity to emotional awareness. Her careful planning and independence reflect the first steps of growing up. The bus ride becomes a symbol of exploration and self-discovery. She leaves the safety of home to see the wider world. Her excitement turns to shock when she witnesses the death of the cow, marking her first encounter with life's fragility and mortality. Her experience of witnessing death transforms her understanding, making the story a quiet but powerful reflection of innocence giving way to maturity. The theme also highlights the value of self-reliance, respect, and empathy. Let's study the term coming of age. Coming of age refers to the process of growing up, a transition from childhood innocence to emotional or moral maturity. It doesn't always mean becoming an adult in a legal or physical sense. It's more about understanding life, taking on responsibility, and discovering oneself for the first time. In literature, it usually happens when a young protagonist faces an event or realization that changes their view of the world. They move from naive curiosity to awareness or empathy. The story concludes with self-understanding rather than happiness. Let's quickly go through a few additional points related to the chapter. The story takes place in a small South Indian village, reflecting a simple rural life and limited exposure to the outside world. Vali, an 8-year-old girl, represents childhood curiosity, independence, and a thirst for exploration. The bus journey stands for self-discovery and the transition from innocence to awareness. The dead cow scene marks Vali's awakening to the realities of life and death. The story, although simple, is realistic and humorous at times, with a deep philosophical undercurrent about life's impermanence. True understanding of the world comes not just from curiosity, but from experience and emotional growth. To summarize the explanation, in Madam Rides the Bus, Vali's first bus journey serves as a metaphor for her transition from childhood innocence to emotional maturity. What begins as a playful adventure turns into a lesson about the depth and unpredictability of life. Through her curiosity, independence, and courage, Vali learns that joy and sorrow coexist in the real world. The story concludes with her quiet reflection at home, illustrating that understanding does not always require words. Vali Ka Nan masterfully presents a simple incident as a profound coming-of-age experience that celebrates curiosity while revealing the inevitability of growth and awareness. We have finished explaining the Class 10 chapter Madam Rides the Bus by Vali Ka Nan. For more in-depth study, Visit our reference website, misroclassroom.com, for exam-oriented summaries, literary devices, extra questions, character sketches, themes, and extract-based questions for Class 10. In the next session, we'll analyze the chapter Bholi by K.A. Abbas. If you enjoyed the content, ask questions, subscribe, like, and share the video. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Bye-bye.